we probably we had probably a couple of hundred people that followed us on our Facebook page, but then we probably had about 1,000 people who signed a petition opposing the district. So that's been one of our goals in this, you know, after the legislative session ended, was trying to figure out how do we reach a broader audience, how do we get more people involved. So we've held a series of community-wide meetings to talk about other things related to the East Baton Rouge Parish School District besides the breakaway. I'm trying to, you know, foster parents' connections to the school district and things like that. But so, you know, we were really a grassroots organization. They like to, the local schools group talks a lot about how they're grassroots, but they had lobbyists and a media relations person, and we were a bunch of moms and one dad, like, figured, okay, who has $20 to pay for copies this week? I mean, we were pooling money, you know, in a living room week to week, trying to figure out how we were going to pay for copies and things like this. And we're very fortunate that we've got, you know, 2 lawyers on board to help us figure out all our legalities and to make sure we were signing up for the right type of organization and all that, so we don't get all get thrown in the pokey. So we were, you know,
goal number 1.
Stay out of jail.
So we made ourselves legal and got our executive board situated for this go round, and you know, and if they file the bill, you know, we'll be trying to figure out how can we raise money to try to do a better job with advertising and getting out the word about you know, what's happening.
Well, and then promote this issue statewide. I mean, this, you know, right now is a Baton Rouge issue, but, you know, we've heard talk about it in other parts of the state, and, you know, I mean, it really is something that folks all across the state need to be paying attention to, you know, that there are, you know, statewide, you know, education reforms and initiatives that affect everyone, but then again, this, you know, that there could be these pull-aways, these country club districts, you know, in other parishes and in other cities, and it's just something that folks need to be watching out for.
And it's odd, you know, this is really kind of the perverse effect of what the legislature did in terms of creating this grading system and state takeover and district takeover, because if you have a district, especially in the urban areas, that has a high concentration of free and reduced lunch kids, but then has pockets of public schools that are being successful, right, the natural inclination is going to be that if the whole district is at risk, right, then the easiest way to circumvent what the legislature mandated is to create these little tiny slices of success, and so then you leave the rest of the district, you know, ripe for takeover by the state. And so that is just not what we want to see happen here, because we know that the history of the recovery district in East Baton Rouge Parish, when they have come in and taken over schools, is the vast majority of those parents choose to stay with East Baton Rouge Parish. They don't go to the recovery school district schools. So what's happening is it's a tidal wave, because they're taking our schools and our buildings and creating overcrowding problems in all of our other schools, which create a whole host of other problems. And so it's just this, you know, tidal wave effect. It just keeps getting bigger. It's more and more pressure on what's left. And so I think it's really important to think about how all of these different policies relate to each other.
That's exactly right. And we came together for one reason, but we realized that we're sticking together and sticking with it for all of these other reasons.